Welcome to the Regional Chamber's Good Morning Austintown breakfast program. I'm Kim Calvert, Vice President of Marketing and Business Services, and I'd like to thank you for joining us today, especially on this miserably cold day. Well, we've certainly been looking forward to this program. It's been a few years since we last held this event and felt that we were long overdue to visit all of you, especially given all of the excitement that's been building in Austintown for lots of reasons. We want to hear more about what's going on and also spend a few minutes telling all of you more about what we do at the Chamber. We'll hear from Austintown Township Trustee Vice Chair Ken Carano, local school Superintendent Vincent Colaluca, and the Chamber's VP of Economic Development, Sarah Boyargo. And we'll also have a very special presentation from the Austintown Fitch Robotics team, Falco Tech. But before we begin, we wanted to start our Friday morning with a short video that we hope will not only energize you a bit, but will also give you some insight and perspective on what our team has been working on and really what's been going on in the Valley in general over the past few years. You may have seen this at our Economic Forecast Breakfast a few weeks ago, but whether this is your first or second view, we hope you enjoy. Thank you. It's certainly an exciting time to be living and working in the Valley, and Sarah's going to tell you a little more about what we're working on and what's going on in just a little bit. But before we move on, I just want to take a minute to remind you of some of the Regional Chamber's upcoming events. You can find all the details on the calendar of events page at regionalchamber.com. Please be sure to check this page often as we're adding lots of new events this year, 45 to be exact, including a couple of new series. The In-Depth With series addresses very specific topics, such as the one we're having next Thursday on HIPAA. And our HR Hot Topic series covers a variety of human resources matters that are important to your organization, such as labor and employment law, which will be featured at our event on March 10th. And be sure to save the date for our annual meeting luncheon on March 19th, when we'll honor YSU head football coach Bo Pelini with our Spirit of the Valley Award, attorney Alan Wenger of Harrington, Hoppy and Mitchell with our Spirit of the Chamber Award, and Ohio Representative Sean O'Brien with our Political Achievement Award. I would now like to take this opportunity to thank Talmer Bank for sponsoring our program. We would certainly not be able to host any of our events without the generosity of our member companies, and I'm pleased to say that Talmer has been a friend of the Chamber's for many years. Please help me welcome Mr. Mark Wenick, Mahoning Valley Region President.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Kim. And that is the second time that I've seen that video. And I can always tell you at the end of that, I feel a lot of pride for what's happening here in the Valley. I will make a comment about the weather. Those of you that don't know me, I probably would be described as an optimist. And today it's going to be mostly sunny. But it is a pleasure to sponsor this event along with the Chamber. And, you know, we're very proud to be a part of the township's business climate. You know, our branch here has done very, very well. And again, we hope that we can continue to be a good citizen of the community, actually as equal as you have been good to us. More importantly, though, this is also home to me and my family. For those of you that don't know, we left the Valley just for a few years, and we came back and relocated. We were looking for a place to live. And we were fortunate to find Austintown as our new home. And the biggest part of that reason was because of the schools here. And Vince, when we came to town, we visited several other school districts, and we were welcomed by, at that point, it was Doug McGlynn and Janet Polish, who was the tennis coach. And our two daughters now, based upon their experience, they're lifelong Fitch Falcons. So we're excited about that. One daughter still lives here. She was fortunate enough to find a job at the New Racino, and the other is at Kent State in her third year. So, those of you might not be surprised to know that I'm a big sports fanatic. And when we're watching sports, we're listening to commentators. They use the thumbs up or the thumbs down, or the arrows pointing up or the arrows pointing down, where they're talking about your favorite sports team or favorite sports personality. And obviously up is on the right trend and down is not very good. But as I would like to say, I don't think there's by any question that the arrow for Austintown is pointing up, as well as for the rest of the Valley. I'm not going to steal the thunder of Ken Carano or Vince Colaluca. I'm sure they'll be pleased to tell you why that arrow is pointing up. But speaking of the arrow pointing up, we also feel at Talmer Bank and Trust that our arrow is definitely pointing up here in the valley. And it's only a testament to our employees, many whom are here this morning, that our arrow is pointing up. And I would point to just a couple factors. One is our resilience. I like that word resilience because I think it does define not only our company and our employees, but also the valley in general. When you think about resilience, it's really a determined attitude, no matter what you're facing, and you really figure out a way to make it happen. So I think resilience is a great term and one that really fits not only our business, but also I'm sure a lot of people in the room and certainly the Austintown community. But the other thing that we attribute our success to recently, and the fact that we are growing again, is our adherence to our core values. Now, I'm sure most of you know what core values are, but I like to think of them as a personality, or really as a credo as to what you live by. And our core values at Talmer can be defined by just 3 words: community, and really giving back to the community; integrity, and that's always doing the right thing; and then service, basically treating people the way that you would want to be treated. So community, integrity, and service. Let me close by just giving you an example of how we have lived our community values at Talmer. Most recently, and within the last 2 weeks, we concluded a campaign that was just about 3 weeks long, in which we were reaching out to not only our internal employees, but also our customers to collect soup cans. We called it the Soup Bowl Stars. And through that 2.5 weeks, we saw a lot of pride, not only, again, among our employees, but also our customers, about this campaign to bring in soup cans, which we were going to deliver to the Second Harvest Food Bank. Well, our campaign concluded, and we delivered 2 weeks ago 6,000 cans of soup to the Second Harvest Food Bank. And by their account, that represented 5,000 pounds of food, and will ultimately provide 4,000 meals to those in need in our community. So again, not only our employees, but our customers truly live that core value of community. So again, we really appreciate the opportunity to be here. We thank you for the support we get here in the township, and again, we look forward to the rest of the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Very well said. And again, to Talmer, thank you both for your support of this program, Austintown Township and the Regional Chamber. I'd also like to recognize and thank Armstrong for their support of the program today. Armstrong has been a great partner to us over the years and has recorded numerous chamber events to air in the local channel, which thereby enables so many more viewers to watch and hear updates like those we're going to jump into right now. So without further ado, please welcome to kick off the update portion of our program, Austintown Township Trustee Vice Chair Ken Carano.
Welcome to the Sunshine Valley of, the area for Mahoning Valley. We have the sunshine out here. Unfortunately, your car is making noise that it never made before because of Thank you to the Chamber for coming here this morning and hosting Good Morning Austintown. Thank you for the sponsors that are sponsoring this. We're very proud of ourselves, and I'd like to call Jim Davis. Here he is. Jim Davis, to start off, he is the chairman. The two of us have worked so very well, but I'd like him to introduce our workers from our township and so on before we get into just some real fast ideas of what's going on and what will be going on in Austintown.
Thank you, Ken. Before we go any further, Ken and I wanted to enlighten you all here today. You all are here for a specific reason, and we're sure that you're here to find out who the next trustee is. So we're happy to unveil that the next trustee... No, you really didn't think we were going to tell you, did you?
We'll negotiate later.
All right. No, truly, Austintown is beneficial to have the department heads that it does to run our departments, and they are the ones that make the township shine. First, our township administrator and road superintendent, Mike Dockery. Mike. Next to him, our fire chief, Andy Frost III. Our zoning inspector, Darren Crivelli. Our police chief, Bob Gavalier. Our park supervisor, Todd Schaefer. Our senior services director, Jim Henshaw. Those individuals truly make Ken and I, we get a lot of the credit, but it's truly those individuals and their employees that make this township so successful. So we'd like to thank them for everything they've done to keep Austintown growing greater. Thank you. I would be remiss, though, if I didn't mention we also have two individuals here today that are former township members, but they're always close to us in our hearts. That's Mahoney County Commissioner Dave Ditzler and the Mahoney County Dog Warden Diane Fry. As we said, and Ken's going to enlighten you more a little bit about the future, but I'm going to just enlighten you a little bit about what Austintown has been able to do. We continue growing because I spoke of our department heads. Things they have done have enabled us as trustees to save the township and taxpayers money. Our fire chief has received grants to receive over $3 million in new fire trucks, equipment for our individuals, and they keep us on the right path in our fire department. We have also joined in a co-op, unlike any other in the state of Ohio, with Joe Lane and Lane Ambulance, and that is because of the relationships built over time between our former fire chief, his dad Andy Frost Jr., and himself, that Austintown Township has a designated ambulance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in our community. And that is a co-op that we have joined with them that Joe Lane provides 3 full-time firemen's salaries to our township, as well as an ambulance. And he also employs 3 individuals to staff that truck that runs out of station number 1, protecting our residents at all times. So it's good to know that, and thanks to Joe Lane for that. Our police chief, Bob Gavalier, had the insight to see an individual that was working for another community and bring him to our community. Patrolman Ron Crum has received over $1.5 million in grants for our police department. We've received new patrol cars, new police officers through grants, and also equipment through grants. Chief Gavalier and his staff have also worked with our reserve program to save the township nearly $1 million just in salaries. In order to put our new patrolmen that come into a patrol car, they have to go through a training. And instead of paying them to go through that training, we've been able to do that through our reserve program, and that has saved our police department thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. Our park supervisor, Todd Schaefer, has done an outstanding job receiving grants, also working with local community individuals to increase the use of our park. Our park is being used now more than ever, thanks to the efforts of Todd and his staff and what they have done. Our senior center has grown to over 1,500 members, thanks to Jim Henshaw and his staff. The senior center is truly one of the shining stars of the Austintown community and the individuals that get to go there. And our zoning inspector has kept Austintown moving in the right direction. Your businesses have been able to grow in this community because of his efforts, because of his land use efforts, and what we have done to make sure Austintown is a clean community, Austintown is a business-friendly community, and thanks to Darren and his staff for that.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. I'm a professional everything and a retired everything. I'm still looking for the guy who signed my birth certificate because I swear he's stolen 20 years from me. I can't be as old as I am. But the fact of the matter is, and here's the best part, out of all our department chairmen, except for Jim Henshaw, thank you for being here, Jim, the rest of them were all my students, including Jim. For those of you who don't know, a township government is the oldest form of government in the United States. In the state of Ohio, the townships were started way before any cities were. Each township is 5 miles by 5 miles. Some townships are 5 miles by 5 miles and have 1,200 people. Austintown, like Boardman, and now coming up Poland and Canfield, are townships that are large. We belong to an organization, called the Coalition of Large Townships. The fact of the matter is we have about 40,000 people, and we're very proud of this community. The only thing is I'm going to talk about the future. What has gone on in the past is wonderful, but times have changed. Austintown will no longer be any kind of isolationist. We are opening our doors to everyone. That's why we thank the Chamber. We're going to get closer to the Chamber and others. The Racino was one of the instigators, obviously. Because of it, a number of different organizations from all over the country are looking at Austintown. We are lucky enough to have a lot of land here that maybe we could do. We have an industrial park. We'd like to create another industrial park on the other side. We will work with every other subdivision, political subdivision in Mahoning County. That includes Youngstown, but our friends in Boardman and Canfield and Poland and all the other smaller townships and cities that in the county. We cannot isolate ourselves. For the sake of our people and so on, we are going to work with them to try to keep the people in Austintown to have a great quality of life and the idea of keeping them safe and a future that they could be proud of for our grandchildren. One of the projects, obviously, we're going to have is just like everybody else. This township is busting out all over, especially for facilities. Our administrative things, our police department, our fire department, all of which have had organization and tried desperately to keep within their bounds, but right now they're busting out. You'll see a program of building in Austintown that will not cost the residents of Austintown a dime. Obviously, it'll come from a budget. My predecessors were very good at keeping the budget. The other thing that we do in Austintown is we very rarely go for a general fund. When we ask people for a levy, we ask them because of specifics. We ask for the fire levy. We ask for a police levy. We ask for a park levy. We ask for a senior center levy. And they have been kind enough to support us. Because of that, we can take a lot of the money that we normally would have to spread from the general fund into those departments and keep it in escrow for us to be able to spend without asking the people in Austintown to pay any more taxes. So I'm really proud of that. Austintown, another thing that maybe you don't know about, there are two responsibilities of Austintown trustees by state law. One is the roads. The other is something that I'm getting a little closer to. It's the cemeteries. So we do take care of the cemeteries, but any public division will tell you the biggest problem we have now is the roads. It's just that simple. When Austintown was the fastest growing township in the state of Ohio, a lot of things were happening that happened too fast. A lot of our roads, whether they're county roads or they're our township roads or even state roads, were built so rapidly that there wasn't a base underneath them. And unfortunately, each of those things are going to have to be corrected as we go along. Obviously, we talked about the safety forces and so on, and that'll happen. But I'm telling you that Jim and I, and whomever we end up with as our third person, will be the leaders in Mahoning County, getting other subdivisions together to try to help each other. Of course, we're concerned with Austintown first. But if there's a suggestion that gives us a fair share to something with other divisions in Mahoning County, we'll be happy to listen to them. Because all we have to do is say no. And maybe we won't have to say no. But thank you all for coming here to Austintown. We look forward to a great future with the Chamber, with Calvert Bank, and all the other people here in Armstrong. Now, see, I don't have any problem with Armstrong because my neighbor is the one who's in charge of it. He lives right across the street. If something happens to me, I just call him. That's all. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for the people of Austintown and your administration.
Thank you so much, Ken, for an interesting update. It looks like we have a lot to stay tuned for. As we always want to know what's going on in our schools, we're glad to welcome Austintown Local School Superintendent Vince Colaluca.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you to the Chamber for hosting this and inviting us to be a part of this, and actually reaching out to our robotics team that we'll do a little presentation in a little bit. Thank you to Talmer, and I do have to throw a plug into Talmer and thank them for supporting Rotary. They let one of their members, Jen is here, she's a fellow Rotarian with me, be a part of Rotary. I am the president of Rotary this year, so I do have to plug Rotary. Thank you for everyone that supports us in our endeavors. For a plug for Rotary, we are having 2 events coming up. One, we have our reverse raffle that's coming up, and that is sold out. So thank you to the Austintown community that have really supported us over the years. And another one in 2 weeks, which is a very endeavor that in Austintown we've taken a very nice relationship with, and that's the Phantoms. We actually educate for their players. And we, in Rotary, are putting on a Rotary game down at the Phantoms on March 6th. If anyone would like tickets to that, please reach out to me. I can get you tickets, and that money goes to support Rotary and Polio Plus. On behalf of the Austintown schools, I just want to introduce who's here today with me and give you a little brief summary of our schools. I am going to ask team members to come up and talk a little bit. With me is Kathy Mock, our president of the Board of Education. Mario Slees, our director of 21st Century Curriculum. Jeremy Batchelor is our assistant superintendent, in charge of the craziness of all this new state testing that we have. And the one that holds our purse, Miss Marianne Herschel, is our treasurer. On behalf of the schools, you know, the game has changed for us. Thanks. The game has really changed for us with schools, and on the sign, the Chamber has partners. And that's something that has been a major change in schools. You know, in the past, we basically owned our children. Where they lived, they went to school. All we had to do is ask for tax dollars, and people would give us dollars, and schools ran really well. Well, that's changed over the years, and we don't own our kids. Kids can have choices to go to other places. And when children choose to go somewhere else, that puts a burden when we have to go for a tax because those kids don't go here. Now we don't have a full support. So really, schools have had to change how we operate, and we have to reach out to partners. And that's something that we've done a vast total change in how we do business. And the Chamber has been a big part of that. I know a lot of it's behind the scenes. There's many things that we do as schools that collaborate. What Mr. Carano talked about collaboration. We collaborate with the Mahoney County Educational Service Center, and we use them to be the partner and the go-between between the Chamber and the schools. The Chamber has been immensely supportive of the school system in the Mahoning Valley. And one major piece you'll be hearing more about is the STEM high school that we're collaborating on, looking to expand what we just seen in the video. All the manufacturing things that are going on in the Valley, all the responsibilities that students need to come out with, the way we used to educate in the past can't meet those goals. So we looked at changing some of the things we do. Mario's going to talk about what we've done STEM-wise to meet the needs of our Valley job force. And what we've done is really reached out to have partnerships, because as educators, we don't know all the things that the business world needs that we need to provide for the business world. But when we have that partnership, it really helps build that base. We're able to develop curriculum and meet the needs of what the business world wants and provide that for our students for a pathway. So it's something that's been really a major change for us in the school system, and it's something that we really have focused on. When the Chamber asked us to speak, and I knew Mr. Carano would be speaking before me, I said, geez, oh man, you're going to let a guy talk before me that was the head of our speech and debate team. That doesn't set me up very well. So Mr. Carano, thanks for what you've done in the Austintown legacy of our schools, because you have done an unbelievable job with our speech and debate, and we still are one of the best teams in the country. Our current coach right now, I'm going to get her name wrong because she just got married, Mrs. Reed, right? Thank you. Formerly Mrs. Folsom. Last year was rated in the top 5% of the coaches in the country for speech and debate. And that goes back to Mr. Carano and his legacy he's led. I'd like to invite Mrs. Mock to come up and talk a little bit about, we've just completed an endeavor that's something that drives us, like the business world. Talked about strategic planning and a strategic time in business. We took that same model and we did a strategic plan in the Austintown schools. Crazy enough for it to sound, it's Falcon 2020. Our plan's going to bring us out to 2020, which seems like it was a long time ago when we talked about that. I think there were some movies that had 2020 as the future part of a movie, and now we're almost there, 5 years away. So we had a committee of over 40 people. Ms. Mock's going to talk about our plan. Thank you for inviting us and having us here.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks, Vince. I am Kathy Mock, and I am president of the Austintown Board of Education. I'm very happy to be here this morning. In case you're not aware of what a strategic plan is, it is a tool that allows an organization or a school district to take the opportunity to build on those things that are successful. And of course, you need to take a look at what you need to improve upon. And that's exactly what we did. Vince already alluded to that there were over 40 people on this process. It wasn't just administrators, it was our teaching staff. We reached out into the community too to have those people be a part of it, because this is your community and your school. The last time we did a strategic plan, it was in 2007. We had a work session in June of 2014, and one of the things that came about in the discussion was, I think it's time we need to revisit that plan. So that's exactly what we did. We had an outside facilitator come in from the Ohio School Boards Association, Kathy Lasota. It was a very rigorous process. We met for 4 months. Each one of those meetings was 4 hours long, and Todd, you can attest to that. Todd was part of that process, so we were really glad to have him part of it. So I just wanted to share with you some of the outcomes. Our work is far from being over. We're just going to get ready to ramp up and do the work. Our vision for the school district, the Austintown local school district, is a united community with a proud legacy and a progressive approach to education. Our mission, that's our work. We will provide an inspiring education that strengthens and prepares our students for unlimited future opportunities. And core values, there are 13 of them. I'm not going to read all those to you today. However, I will share with you the goals, which there are 5. Communication. We will communicate effectively in a timely manner with a transparent message. Customer service. We will establish a small school relationship in a big school setting. Policy implementation. All employees from the top to the bottom will practice fair and consistent policy enforcement at all levels. Finances. We will demonstrate fiscal responsibility to you, the Austintown community, and academics. Instructional staff employees will deliver instruction that is research-based. So in closing, our plan, Austintown Local School District's plan, will reflect the beliefs, the values, and the traditions of the community that will differentiate us from all districts in the area. Thank you.
With the changing times in education, one of the things we recognized as an administrative team and a board that we need to really look to the future and how we're planning education. So we instituted a position called the Director of 21st Century Curriculum. And with that position, many things changed in the Austintown schools. Mr. Mario Salee has been with us for 2 years. He's in charge of those programs, and he's going to speak about them right now.
Good morning. One of the things that we've talked about in preparing for this meeting today was we've been in the news recently about enrollment. We are the largest school district in Mahoning Valley now, and we're very proud of that. And so we talked about what are some of the things that got us there. Why are we the largest school district? And what we started to talk about were our programs and what we offer to our students. We took a look at where students, like Vince had mentioned earlier, students have the opportunity, they have choice. Well, if they do have choice to go somewhere else, why do they leave us? Some reasons are beyond our control, but some things are things that we can control. So we looked at our programs and said, okay, well, what do we do that's significant or different from what other school districts are doing? I'm in charge of our online programming and our alternative education. We've had students who have left our district to go to an online program. We've had students who have come back from online programs and said that didn't work for me, but I still would like that to be an option for me. So what we started to do then was we gave them more support in the online program. So that was one of the areas where we were able to retain or bring students back into our school district, and then they were no longer leaving to take on an opportunity that we did not offer for them. Another thing that we feel like we offer great academics across the board, and that's a tradition here in the Austintown Local School District. We have great teachers, we have great administrators, we have great people all the way around, and most importantly, we have one of the things I noticed, I've only been here for a year and a half, we have great students. Our students are outstanding, above all expectations that you can give them. They are far above everything that you can ask for in a student body. They will do absolutely anything for you, including come here at 7:30 in the morning on a day that they don't have to go to school. I think that's a testament to their commitment to not only their education, but also our community. So whether it's academics, where we feel like we've done a good job and we've become progressive in that area, all the way down to kindergarten, our students take technology. They're familiar with, they're born these days with a tablet in their hand and knowing how to use those devices. So even at the kindergarten level, we have technology courses K through 12. We offer our STEM program, more of an isolated program starting in the 7th grade, but we also offer Project Lead the Way STEM-based hands-on learning at the 7th grade level for all students. That's moving into the high school as well. The Project Lead the Way will be something that we'll use as a curriculum base next year in our high school. And that's all hands-on learning, STEM education, very supportive of the video that we saw this morning. So that's another big area for us that we've continued to improve and grow in those particular areas. Extracurriculars, you see Falco Tech is here today, ACTV is represented here today. We have so many programs. I'm actually the vice president of our Kiwanis Club. Our Key Club has a large membership as well. And those are all areas that students can do beyond the academics. And I think our athletics is also another area where a lot of our athletes and coaches and our community is very proud of what we've been able to accomplish in those areas. So I think that the bottom line is we try to offer a diverse offering of things for students in all different areas, no matter what it is that you're experiencing in your school life or what it is that you want to accomplish in your school life. We try to offer as many opportunities for students as we possibly can. And we could go through the list of all the things that we offer, but more than likely, if there's something that we don't offer, if you speak up about it, we have a student body that has taken on other responsibilities throughout the district that have come about just because of student input or staff input. So from the enrollment standpoint, we want to continue to get better in the things that we're doing now. We want to continue to expand upon programs that we're doing. A lot of times we often are the first to do certain things. We have, Jeremy's going to talk a little bit about our Chromebook project for grades 6 through 12, and that's something that is new for us this year. With all of the testing, it was amazing to see this week that our middle school students started their testing on Tuesday, and they brought their Chrome. We said we're crazy to tell students, you have these Chromebooks, but we need you to bring them in for the responsibility of taking our testing, and a large majority of them do what we ask them to do. So it's a responsibility part on their end, but it's reinforced at home with their families. It's reinforced in the school district, and to watch our students just go through that process, it was all new to us. We had teachers say, well, I didn't know to do this. We didn't know either. We just we troubleshooted as we went and made changes along the way. It's a very brand new process, and there's areas that the state can't really even tell us this is what you're going to experience. So that speaks to the flexibility of our staff, though, and they just make every situation work out. So we're very proud of that in our school district, and hopefully we continue to improve in that area. One of the areas on our last strategic plan was retention of students and student enrollment, and all of those programs that I mentioned all fed into meeting that goal, and we feel like we're doing a great job of it. Thank you.
We did have a 10-minute time limit, so we're trying to stick to that. Last is our new assistant superintendent. For those that have been around Austintown for a long time, our district's always had an assistant superintendent, and when we had some money troubles back in 2005 and 6, no, it was actually a little bit before that, we made some adjustments and did away with that position. But with the change and the emphasis of academics and the responsibilities that school districts have now, it's very difficult to get central office administrators at all, to be honest. So the board looked at bringing on an assistant superintendent, doing away with our director of instruction position, and divvying that director of instruction position amongst the other central office administrators. So we did not add a new position in the Austintown schools. We brought back a assistant superintendent and divvied up the position of director of instruction. And that's Mr. Jeremy Batchelor. We bring him back to Austintown. He was with us in 2006 as an assistant principal at Frank Ole. He went to North Carolina to be with his wife's family, and we were able to coerce him to come back and be back with his family here in the Mahoning Valley. Jeremy Batchelor.
Good morning, everyone, and Vince is absolutely correct. I absolutely have to love the Mahoning Valley and Austintown to be here, because I've been in sunny weather for the last 6 years, and I just dragged my wife back about 3 days ago, and I don't think she's left the house in 2 days. But no, we absolutely are honored to be back in Austintown. This place was great to me and my family before, and so when the opportunity to come back home came up, it was almost a no-brainer for myself and my kids, especially my younger 2 boys who are, at AMS and at Fitch. So we're glad to be here. And this position, as Vince said, has a very long job description, but I am so proud to be able to work with great central office administrators as well as teachers in our district. And so I'm not going to be before you long, but one of my main responsibilities is the overall accountability and our testing program. And so by a show of hands, who has seen this device here sometime in the last 3 months of your life watching either WFMJ or WKBN? Those are our Chromebook devices that we have distributed to students in grades 6 through 12 in the Austintown local schools. Our Board of Education made a decision in the summer that we wanted to be a one-to-one school district in those grade level bands. And mainly, one of the main emphasis was because of the testing, which is moving towards online. And Mario said before, we are a leader. And so we actually are doing all of our testing online. Our PARC test, which is Partnership for Assessment and for Readiness for College and Careers, and our AIR test, which are the Ohio-developed tests for Science and Social Study. We're administering all of those tests online for our students. And as Mario said, we started on Wednesday at the middle school and at the intermediate school, and students were engaged. We had more problem with the technology probably than they did. Little fixes, they were able to actually help us. So it is just an exciting time to be a part of the Austintown local schools, to be a part of education. It's also a little anxious because we do have a new accountability system in Ohio with new report card grading system that will be live and actually impact districts in 2016. But just like students get a grade on their report card, we will get a grade as a school district. And as Mr. Carano has already said, and I've talked to other people in this room, a gentleman here said that he moved his family here to Austintown because of our schools. Well, we want to continue that. We don't want to have a bad rating, and we're not going to have a bad rating. So we have a lot of work to do, and that's why we're trying to be ahead of the game with our Chromebooks and those types of things to make sure our students have the tools they need to be successful in the game that has changed and how we will be graded and how they will be assessed. Those new assessments that your students are taking this year are computer-based, but they are also more rigorous based on the Common Core state standards. And those business people in the room, I don't know how you feel about them, but I know from being in other states that this is not an Ohio movement, this is a nationwide movement to prepare our students to be critical thinkers, to be problem solvers in the 21st century so that they can take those jobs that individuals need and that people are creating in the 21st century. So I'm proud of our teachers. There's a lot of work to still be done, but I feel like we are putting the tools in people's hands to be able to get those things done. So we thank you for your continued support.
Thank you from the Austintown schools. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Superintendent, and to your whole team. I know 10 minutes is really never enough time to hear what's going on in the schools or the township, but we appreciate the well-rounded overview of everything that you just provided to us. But it only seemed appropriate on the heels of these remarks that we would showcase some of the talents of the students in the schools. And I think we're all going to be in awe of these young people and what they can do. The Austintown Fitch Robotics team, Falco Tech, won the 2014 Tech Valley Regional Entrepreneurship Award, and they're gearing up for 2 regional events soon. The Buckeye Regional on March 27th and 28th at Cleveland State University, and the Queen City Regional April 1st and 2nd at Xavier University. Here to tell us and show us more, please welcome Team Falco Tech and their mentor, Andy Yantees.
I'd like to thank the Chamber for inviting us here today. I will first introduce our program, and then I'll introduce the students so they have a chance to explain to you what we're doing. We are Team Falco Tech. We are a FIRST robotics competition team at Austintown Fitch High School. FIRST is the umbrella that we are under. FIRST stands for Recognition and Inspiration of Science and Technology. We're a program that is set up to get kids interested in STEM. We were started 6 years ago by Rick Zimmerman and Mike Malott in the school system to make sure that we had a program that got kids interested and were excited about STEM. The program that we currently have is self-funded. It's not something that we do on a general basis. We're constantly fundraising. This is a $25,000 a year program. But what you can see from what these kids do on a daily basis and a yearly basis is simply amazing. I'd like to introduce Sarah Drabeson and Kylie Gessner as our Chairman's Award presentation. They're going to explain what our team has done in the last year.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Falco Tech Robotics Spectacular. We have roughly 15 minutes worth of information for you today, but you see, there's a catch. We only have 5 minutes.
So, without further ado, please make sure your shoes are tied tightly because we are about to knock your socks off.
Falco Tech Robotics started out with 8 curious students, all wanting to be a part of this newly formed foundation.
What they didn't know was how this was going to impact their future.
These students had a stress put upon them to uphold the standards set before them by their mentors, the newly formed STEM program, and of course by FIRST.
Our team quickly grew. We now have 27 students in our program, and our numbers continue to multiply. Falco Tech has become a program that is known for community service, academic standards, and team spirit.
Without the help of our mentors, this team would not be possible. They are not a part of the Austintown faculty, but do work directly with the applications the team works with. Although they hold 40-hour-a-week jobs, they spend many hours during build and off-season with the team. Not only do they want us to help with the robot, but also learn from the activities we complete.
With these great mentors, many of our team members pursue STEM careers, including biomolecular, mechanical, and chemical engineering, including numerous others. With the Falco Tech program, let students discover new careers they would otherwise not know much about and pursue them with great interest and dedication.
As a team, we believe that STEM is important for the students and community so others can learn about the growing science and technology programs throughout the area. We do this by conducting demonstrations at our elementary, middle, high schools for the parents and students.
Along with the STEM program, Falco Tech also has great dedication to the FIRST program. Our team helps to start and extend robotics organizations in many other schools and communities, such as Hubbard, Cardinal Mooney, and Canfield. With our help and support, Poland will hopefully have a team next year. Even though they are our competition, we are still excited for their introduction into the robotics program.
Besides helping other teams, we also help our own. Athletics, of course. You know, where they run the play and score the points by putting the puck in the basket.
Oh yes, that one's my favorite. I think my team is going to the World Super Bowl.
Anyways, we sold spirit buttons at various events to help fundraise our build season and support our school teams.
However, not everything we do is for our own or school's benefit. This past fall, Falco Tech has hosted a spaghetti dinner for Emily, a 5th grader at Austintown Intermediate School. She sadly has cancer. To support her family, the robotics team held a spaghetti dinner in her name. Flyers and announcements were made to spread the word. We've raised $11,000 to help Emily and her family to pay medical bills.
Furthermore, we also help Relay for Life, the 4th of July parade, in an event called Austintown Day, which is a day dedicated to spreading the Falcon pride in our schools throughout our community. The Falco Tech team has also benefited our community through many programs, including the Packard Museum and 7 Days of STEM at the Oh Wow Museum in Youngstown, Ohio, where we gave robot demonstrations throughout the day.
Through the actions we take as a team, we would like to mirror the morals and set expectations of first.
Our hard work sets us apart from other FRC teams in the community. This is shown through the competitive edge we have on the playing field. While our competitors are our friends, we believe that a little friendly competition is healthy and will build up all teams.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
We would like to thank you for listening to us for the last 5 minutes.
Before we leave, however, we do have one question.
How are your socks? Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, now we're going to get into the robot thing, but at the same time, I'm going to introduce Mr. Rick Zimmerman. I'm going to help Wesley Pringle control the robot. I'll show you guys what they built last year. This is last year's competition bot. We actually just finished our build season Tuesday night at midnight for this year's competition, and trust me, it's been a long 6.5 weeks. And so I'm going to introduce Mr. Rick Zimmerman, our lead mentor, and I'm going to help Wes with the robot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. I'd like to thank the regional again, Talmer Bank and Armstrong Cable for having us. As Andy said, we run under the umbrella of FIRST, which was started 25 years ago by Dean Kamen. Nobody may know that name. Everybody know what the Segway is? He invented that and about 300 other patents that he carries. About 25 years ago, he found out that schools were not putting out engineers, scientists. So he started a program that would make kids learn without knowing they were learning. So every year, we're in FRC, First Robotics Challenge. First weekend in January, we find out what the new game is. We have 6 weeks to design, prototype, and build a functional 120-pound robot to do the game. There are this year 67 regionals globally. There are more than 3,000 teams globally. We have competed against teams from Istanbul, Turkey, from Brazil, from Mexico, Canada, almost all the United States, Hawaii, California. We have, as was mentioned, we are going to 2 competitions during the regular season. During the off season, we attend many. We go to Rochester, we go to Erie, we've been to Indianapolis, we've been to Columbus for state championships. This is a year-round program. This isn't like football or anything where it's a couple months out of the year and that's it. We meet all summer long. We fundraise all summer long. We go to competitions. We do benefits. Which carpet? And as was said, 6 weeks. The students, basically everything other than welding the frame, do everything. We're in the process of trying to locate a TIG welder so we can teach the kids how to weld, but they do the plumbing, they do the electrical, they do the programming this year. They do a little bit of everything. Again, every year it's totally different. We've kicked soccer balls, we've thrown frisbees. Yeah, throw a frisbee 54 feet and hit a target that big in 2.5 minutes and do it about 60 times. So the kids do it all. They learn a lot. As they graduate and go into college, they come back. We've graduated out about 18 kids total in the last 5 years. 95% of them are back sometime during the build season to help out the younger kids. They also go to competition and help out there also. So it's a great program. The main thing is last year, FIRST gave out $18 million in scholarships. Having put 3 daughters through college, I know what it means. Last year we had one of our gentlemen was given money to go to Cincinnati. He decided to go to YSU instead. So the money is out there. We're helping them all get going. It's a great program. We meet after school from 5 o'clock till 10, 11 o'clock at night. But the main emphasis, we always tell the kids, homework first. You got to keep the grades up or you can't go with us. So the older kids help the younger kids with their homework before robotics starts, and we get the program done. So we thank you very much for having us.
Hey, Rick, I thought you were going to have Jim Davis pass the ball.
We can, we may be able to do it over here, we may not hit the lights out, we can do that. Paul didn't like the cold weather this morning. Look at this. All high school, it went from this big to this big. So teaching the kids about physics and whatnot. So, it's not gonna go that far. Okay. We're gonna hit these people.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Yenties, and to the whole team. I know it was hard enough to get out of bed this morning, let alone come out in this weather, and it was well worth it. It's phenomenal. Could we give them another round of applause? And here to round out our program this morning, just to give you an overview of what's going on at the Chamber, please welcome Sarah Boyarko, our Vice President of Economic Development.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having us today. As Kim mentioned, I'm Sarah Boyarko, and I'm just going to give a brief overview. We just have a few minutes left, and we want to get you out of here on time, of who we are at the Chamber and some of the services and departments that we have. Let me get the clicker here. The Chamber is a private nonprofit business organization that provides leadership and business services to promote growth to our nearly 2,600 members, which many of you are members here in the room today. And of those 2,600 members, there's representation of over 100,000 employees throughout the Valley. Our mission statement is to provide economic development and business services that promote the growth of our members and the Valley overall, while emphasizing the importance of education to prepare our future workforce for an increasingly competitive and global economy. The Chamber has 6 different divisions. We've got our business services that mainly deals with our membership, our economic development division, which I oversee, our government affairs. Guy Covielli is here, and we'll talk a little bit about his services a little bit later. And our Chamber Foundation, our marketing department, which Kim also oversees, and our finance. Though he could not be here today, Tom Humphreys is our president and CEO at the Chamber, and also this is a photograph of our new board chair, Marty Bushy, who is an attorney at Manchester, Newman and Bennett. Everyone knows who Kim is from the presentation this morning, and she oversees our business services and marketing. She's our vice president. With those nearly 2,600 members, that makes our organization the 3rd largest metro chamber in Ohio. We provide a variety of membership levels, based on employee numbers, and more than 90% of our members are small business. So some of the services offered from the Chamber, there are a variety of healthcare, workers' compensation, and energy discounts. Also networking opportunities for our more than 100 events annually. And then again, our marketing services. Kim had mentioned a few of our new programs and a number of new programs this year. We also oversee the Mahoney Valley Safety Council, which was started in the 1970s. This organization is dedicated to promoting workforce safety and awareness amongst medium, small, and large employers and their employees. This organization meets 12 times per year, and it is one of 80 safety councils throughout the state of Ohio and one of the largest in the state. Kim also had mentioned, again, some of those newer programs in HR. Not to repeat some of the things she said, but one of the things that's probably really important to mention to the business community is some of these HR programs offer hours towards recertification, so that's very important to those HR folks. She talked about the in-depth program, in addition to our mixers, one of which was here in Austintown Township last night at the Racino. It was a great event, very well attended. Our power lunches have been very successful due to Kim's staff's engagement, and then our Good Morning events like we're here for today. Our Economic Development Department provides a variety of services. The retention and expansion of local business, and then also the attraction of new businesses to the community. We provide a wide array of site selection services and hand-holding to companies that need that one-on-one attention. And then we are responsible for the coordination of the local and state incentive package. The Chamber's Economic Development Department is the single point of contact for all project leads or inquiries coming from businesses through the state of Ohio, in addition to Team NEO. Since 1993, our Economic Development Department has been extremely engaged in offering assistance for nearly 500 projects, totaling over $4.4 billion of investment overall, and resulting in over 50,000 new or retained and maintained jobs. In 2014, our efforts totaled over $126 million of investment. There's a total of 13 projects that we managed that created over 480 new jobs and a significant amount of payroll. These are projects that the Chamber managed. Clearly there was more investment that occurred throughout Mahoning and Trumbull County, but these totals here are projects that we managed. Again, that one-on-one conversation and hand-holding throughout the opportunity. In 2014, the Chamber was responsible for collectively going out on over 1,200 retention expansion visits. This is where we go out on a daily basis and meet with companies to make sure that they have all of the services in front of them to retain their business, expand, and look at new opportunities for investment. One project in Austintown Township last year that was a result of our ongoing retention expansion efforts was Heinz Industries. Heinz was highlighted in our video at the beginning of our event. They are currently in the process of investing nearly $7 million in a new facility. They opted, instead of leaving the valley, which they were contemplating, they opted to invest in another facility in Austintown on Hendricks Road. They are in the former Daniele Wien facility, and most recently it was Main Steel Polishing. They are creating 42 new jobs and retaining or maintaining 140 jobs. So it was a really big win for Austintown Township and Mahoning County to keep them in the community. The property they were contemplating going to is another out-of-state location that they currently have control of and own, so there was a significant amount of competition there. It was an excellent opportunity to get Hendricks Road improved. As many of you may be well aware, that road was in very poor condition, and it was a plus for Heinz Industries and then also all of the other users of that road on a daily basis. The parties that came together for this opportunity were the Regional Chamber, Jobs Ohio, the state entity for development, the Department of Transportation, Jobs and Commerce, Austintown Township, the Mahoning County Engineers Office, and our workforce partners at Ohio Means Jobs. So it was really a collective effort to make that project happen. A few additional opportunities that were announced last year and some of our more significant investment. Metalco is underway with their construction in the village of Lordstown in Trumbull County, and they are investing over $100 million in a new aluminum remelting facility to serve their customers here and then also to grow their customer base. And they are going to be creating between 60 and 80 full-time jobs and also producing over 350 million pounds of aluminum billet annually. This investment will actually make Metalco the largest aluminum remelt facility or have the largest footprint in North America. So it's a really big win for them, and they're very excited about that opportunity. Laird Technologies is another win that went to the city of Warren. This is a facility that was previously located in Sharpsville, Pennsylvania, and they simply outgrew their space and did not have any other options where they were. They were looking to go a little bit farther out of reach for their existing employees and suppliers in Western Pennsylvania, so it was actually a big win for the Western Pennsylvania folks, their employees, again, their existing suppliers, for them to locate in the city of Warren. They found an existing building and they relocated 150 jobs to the city of Warren, and they're also going to create an additional 55 jobs over the next 3 years. Though these last two opportunities are in Trumbull County, we highlighted them because they're not only working with Trumbull County businesses, but they're working with suppliers and service providers within Mahoning County, and they're also providing employment opportunities for Mahoning County residents. I can tell you that going back to the Metalco project, every time they come to town, which there are multiple people in town on a weekly basis, they stay in Mahoning County in Austintown Township. So they're staying at a hotel right at 46 and 80 and eating dinner there and making investment or spending their money here in Mahoning County, so that's a good thing. A real quick snapshot of our 2015 pipeline. We are currently managing, and I don't need to maybe read through all this, you can see the investment for you, but currently managing a collective total of over $1.4 billion of investment, and that's all of the projects together. Again, these are projects that we provide the constant one-on-one attention and the hand-holding. We hope to have all of these projects announced within the next 12 to 24 months. Sometimes it might take a little bit longer. The projects that we previously talked about actually some were spillover from 2013 into last year. So some of them take quite some time to put together, but this is what we're looking at for future investment for the Mahoning Valley. We recently announced through our Economic Development Department a state line export initiative between Ohio and Pennsylvania. The Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber and YSU's International Trade Assistance Center are managing this opportunity. It is a 10-county partnership, and the main objective is to build on our already increased momentum surrounding exporting, and then also increase our overall international activity. So that would involve foreign direct investment, the attraction of students to high schools and higher education and so forth. We will shortly be pushing out a survey to our manufacturers to participate in this opportunity. And then also our website will be going live shortly. So you'll see a press release from Guy Covielli hopefully in the next few weeks. Guy is our Vice President of Government Affairs and Media. And his department, in addition to building relationships and working with our media contacts on a daily basis, he provides assistance on legislative issues, as an example, at the state, local, and federal level. And works with our business community on a regular basis. One of those items is the state of Ohio's capital budget process. The 2013 and 14 budget was also managed by the chamber, and it was the first year to be done so, and it went very well. We managed the economic development and community development applications, which Guy will manage in the next round, but he'll also be concentrating on and coordinating outreach with the arts community. So in looking at the capital budget timeline, there's a very brief overview of the tentative process that would be occurring for a call for projects, the committee that will come together, again, a regional group of individuals covering both counties, and an application process, and also the state priority list that will be going to not only our state legislators, but also Columbus, for those folks that are managing the process in Columbus. This is a representation or a map of the 6 regions that Jobs Ohio does business with, and the state of Ohio is really working to keep everything, all of their initiatives and any process that they work on throughout the state within that 6-region geography. It's an 18-county region for Northeast Ohio, and that's who Guy will be working on with the arts efforts. So in looking at the project in the past. So representing Region 2 for that Northeast Ohio geography, we received overall 20% of the funding in the last process, but it was not a significant amount of money for Mahoning and Trumbull. So the efforts of Guy organizing all of the arts groups will enable us to get hopefully a bigger piece of that pie to Mahoning and Trumbull rather than the majority of that funding going to Cuyahoga County. I had mentioned previously that we have a Chamber Foundation. John Rossi is our president of the Chamber Foundation. It is a 501c3 operating foundation for the Chamber, and it supports our economic development services throughout the Mahoning Valley. A few of the initiatives he's working on, in addition to his foundation role, are management of the 422 corridor project. I'm sure many of you have heard about that, and it is to leverage the momentum of the rebirth of the Briar Hill Works area in beautification, identifying properties for future economic development, bringing suppliers closer to the companies that are there, and an overall plan for next steps. If you've not gotten a chance and have not driven down 422 by the Valoric plant, you really should take a look. It is amazing what has been done so far, and the groups that are working together have done a very nice job. John is also overseeing an initiative for the Air Reserve Station, which is working to stabilize their operations and enhancement efforts, in addition to a long-term base advocate, which will happen through a military affairs commission. Angela Neely is our CFO at the Chamber, and Angela is the individual that not only manages our administrative activity and financial activity with the Regional Chamber, but also Lake to River, which is our holding company, and she oversees the management of the buildings and the land that the Chamber owns through Lake to River, Mahoning, Trumbull County, and Youngstown CICs, and also Leadership Mahoning Valley. We talked a little bit about marketing, and again, this is the department that Kim oversees. Our chamber markets to our members and the Valley community overall. We market outside of the Valley to the region, the state, the nation, and on a global level through our global media contacts and our site consultant contacts, in addition to businesses to each other through our events and other activities that the Chamber is engaged in. In 2014, the marketing department tracked 607 positive stories about the Valley. We've always had some news on a national or international level, and not all of it was really very positive for many, many years, as many of you could probably imagine. There are a lot of things going on, and here are a few highlights of those stories. First in the U.S. in access to affordable health care, 5th best metro in the country to raise a family, 8th in economic development, and 10th best in economic performance among the largest metros in the U.S. So those are some great highlights. We also have an ongoing list that Guy manages, and he would, I'm sure, be happy to share that information from our ongoing recovery piece. Some of the other ways we promote the Chamber are through our online newsletter, our e-newsletter, our Chamber emails, which many of you receive, our website, social media outlets, press releases, the Valley Magazine, our Take 5 initiative of the Regional Chamber that highlights our business community. And that's where we're going to leave our presentation today. Kim oversees this initiative with Take 5, and again, highlighting the business community and our chamber members. And I'm sure, as she mentions on this slide, that she certainly is interested in any ideas you might have about highlighting Austintown Township in the community overall, in addition to the businesses that are our members. So with that, I don't know if you have any questions. There are a few people here that were mentioned in the slides, and I'm sure they would be able to answer questions for you, if not now, directly in the future, and you will be able to access us at the Chamber, and we'll get you to the right person. Okay? Very good. Thank you.